Hello and welcome to the Fear Free Human podcast. We are a coaching podcast. We use the internal guidance system as a way of supporting people in alleviating suffering in their life and finding strategic ways to get on their personal blueprint and discover the life that matters for them. We are testing a new piece of software today, so please be patient if I have a little hiccup here and there. We're switching to something that I think will work better for the students and the coaching clients that I have. In the meantime, we're going to go ahead and dive right in with some coaching. We're going to bring in Alysson.
Hi, Zen.
Hi. Hi. So, how are you doing today?
Oh, well, holding it together. Tim got he had his PET scan today.
Okay. What's going on?
Well, you read the report, it came out pretty quick, and it's like, I don't fully understand this. But I was hoping for no evidence of disease, so no evidence of cancer, but that's not what it was. I mean, it's not like it progressed in the sense of, where the tumor was located, in his right lung in the bronchial area, not actually in the lung tissue. It's still not in the lung tissue itself, which is very good.
Okay. That's good. Yeah.
Yeah. But then it's like stable to improving right hilar uptake. And that's kind of, inside the bronchial tube part. So it didn't completely go away. It's
Okay.
stable. Or in the one area, the metabolic activity is significantly down. The other one, it's the same as it was back in January when he had his previous PET scan. And then, but there's also this one area of concern on his ninth rib on the right. It's pea-sized. Okay. It has some metabolic activity. And, based on what I've read, and I had a conversation with DeBrucke, it could potentially be inflammation. But
so what are we doing with your IGS today? What's going on through your head?
I think I'm having so many background thoughts that I'm kind of like spinning and I'm not getting a clear answer. I would like to know if that is metastasis, if I can determine that, or if it's inflammation. He has been working on our Jeep, and he has been pretty much, had the hood up and laying over it, and he actually could feel soreness in that exact spot, but maybe something's going on there. So my mind is,
You're getting answers. You're getting answers already from your internal guidance system. You're closed.
I am.
You're filled with anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
And I would imagine that many of your thoughts are not revolving around, it's perfectly okay, he's going to be fine, this doesn't mean anything. No.
No.
So those are not the thoughts that are closing you. So why don't you share with me the thoughts that you're actually having? And then if there's any other browsers that you have Riverside FM open, will you close them? It's telling me that it's a big problem for the...
I did, because I tried a couple things, and
it's okay. Can you just...
they're all closed.
Just close them?
Yeah, actually I closed them. I have the same thing showing up, but I don't actually anymore.
Okay, well, let's keep going then.
Okay.
It just popped up. So tell me the thoughts that are closing you, because you're closed. You're getting... So let me say, I've got so much spinning in the background that I can't get any readings. Not true. You're getting readings from you're getting guidance from your IGS, and it's just that you're getting a lot of closings and you want an opening.
Yes.
But closing is an answer. It's an answer that what you're thinking is not true or not going to happen. And you have to go with it. So what happens is we're in suffering. Anxiety feels like suffering,
yes,
right?
Very much so.
And the mind wants to have an answer so that it can get out of suffering. And that's what's happening right now. So it's not listening to the guidance you're getting because it's in pain. So it's looking for a way out. That's the way the mind works. But you don't need a way out, because you know that the suffering is guidance. It's guidance that what you're thinking is not true or not going to happen. So sit with that for a second.
Okay.
Sit with that guidance and be grateful for that guidance.
Could you please repeat that? I'm really like,
Yeah. You are getting guidance
okay.
with your anxiety and your overwhelm and your closing that what you're thinking is not sure or not going to happen. That is good news. It means all of the dire consequences that your mind is making up in this moment are not true or not going to happen.
Right.
Good news. The closing is good news. Hold that thought. This closing is good news.
This closing.
Hold the thought.
Okay. This closing is good news.
All the awful things I'm thinking is going to possibly is happening right now is not what's happening.
Okay, I'm opening to that.
Mm-hmm.
Those statements.
This PET scan is a good PET scan. Nothing has gone any further. And the right rib is not a problem. There you go.
I open.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I know, honey, it's hard. It's very scary. Now, the reason why you feel this scared is because of how much you love him. And that is a beautiful, exquisite, amazing thing.
I deal with them.
The depth of your fear, yep. The depth of that fear is just equal to the depth of the love.
I look forward to the day when I am just opening, like you. Well, you say you close sometimes, right?
Heck yeah. Your mind is your mind. It's like I keep trying to tell people, it's like saying heartbeat stop. Heartbeat stop. It's not going to stop. So you can calm that if you go out and you sprint really hard and your heart starts beating rapidly and it's like, right? You can calm, you can get yourself walk slowly and get your heart rate down. It's the same thing with your mind. Your mind gets a piece of information, wraps a story around it, flips out, Chicken Little, starts running around. We're all going to die. We're all going to die, right? And you, being the person who can witness your mind, says, no, stop. We don't know what's happening. Let's check in with something more intelligent than ourselves, our internal guidance system attached to divine intelligence. And let's get a real reading of what the heck's going on here and what our strategy and our next steps are. But the mind is going to still flip out.
Yeah. It's been doing it for a long time.
It has. It's the way it's designed.
Yeah.
It's designed to find a way to get you more love and to be safe. Right? Mm-hmm. And sometimes those two things are scary because our mind is seeing us not being loved or not being safe. And it's not true because it picked up all that information between the ages of 0 and 7. And then it went out into the world and it gathered evidence of its stories that it made up in that age group. And it never had an opportunity to really assess, well, mom and dad are fighting all the time because they're under financial pressure. And that financial pressure doesn't have anything to do with me. No, instead it says mom and dad are fighting all the time and I'm here all the time. So it must be me.
Yes.
I make people mad.
Yeah.
Right. So the thing that's important in a moment like that, because I have the same closings that'll happen if something big happens, right? In my life too, is you have to realize I'm getting guidance. I am getting guidance. I am so closed. I am so uncomfortable at the thoughts that I'm having, that these thoughts are not true. Thank God these thoughts are not true. I'm so glad these thoughts are not true. Don't try to, throw a cup of water at a tsunami. Stop coming. It's not going to work. Okay. Just surf the wave and be like, all right, so these aren't true. So if those aren't true, then that means then you can start with the opposite. Sometimes that will work, that this is what's true. And that's when you start using your tool. So what you found out was it's actually, I bet the doctor said this is a great PET scan.
We don't actually talk to the oncologist until Tuesday.
Yeah.
So yeah. And holiday weekend and all that.
Yeah.
So
but it is a good one. There's no growth. There's no growth. It's not in his lungs. There's a whole bunch of stuff. The bronchial tissue and the lung tissue are very different.
Yeah.
Lungs are much more temperamental.
One thing I'm wondering about, and actually maybe I wonder if I could check this out. When we've, Tim had 2 rounds of chemo. Along with the second round of chemo, he had this radiation treatment. It was very intense. And it completed on April 30th. And so he had to wait 4 months for this PET scan. Enough time has to go by, the inflammation settles down and all that. But the radiation oncologist that we met with initially said we're going to take out any lymph nodes that are questionable, because you can't tell if it's in a CAT scan. You can't tell if it's cancer or inflammation. And we're like, yes, if it's questionable, there's a lot of lymph nodes in there anyway. I mean, there are other lymph nodes. And he said, we'll make sure we take it out. We ended up going to another location of the same business. So a different radiation oncologist. And one thing in the notes here says nodal, meaning lymph node, nodal uptake within the right ileum, which again is this area, measures 6.1 SUV, which is a measure.
Don't go over all the thing. Just get to the question with me.
Okay.
I don't need to know the answers in order to be able to help you.
Okay, so this lymph node was either not removed, even though it was inflamed, or it's another lymph node that has become inflamed.
Okay.
It's one or the other.
First of all, is this any of your business?
Is this any of my business?
Open, closed, or neutral?
Open.
Okay. And then when you're looking at it, is this a problem?
Is this?
Now you're asking questions because the only reason we can ask questions, I could not have done this at the beginning of the coaching session because you're in too much fear.
Right.
That's why asking question doesn't work.
Right.
Okay. Because you're everything is coming from a fear. And so the questions will be misinformed by the fear. Now that we've gotten you out of fear, feel the difference?
Mm-hmm.
Now you're in a neutral state. You're not in hypervigilance.
Right.
We can actually look and start asking questions and using the tools.
Okay. Or I could restate it to not be a question too.
It doesn't matter if it's a statement or a question. That doesn't make any difference.
Oh, okay.
Because it doesn't matter. If you're in fear, your mind cannot think outside of its box. You have to get connected to the IGS, which means get out of the fear first.
Okay.
So that's why I want to make sure you know that, because I don't want you getting in fear like that again and then sitting there thinking you can question your way out of the fear. You can't, because you're already dealing with a misinformation. You're already dealing with a lie. You're already dealing with deception. You're already dealing with a false story when you're in that closed state.
Okay.
So any question you ask is going to be about a closed state.
Right.
It's like, okay, it's like this. Your mind is believing something is terrible is happening, and it's in fear. So I'm going to give you an example.
Okay.
Somebody comes to you and goes, the moon is made of cheese. And you go, no, the moon is not made of cheese. Do you think it's Swiss cheese or cheddar cheese? The moon is not made of cheese. Okay, well, maybe it's Havarti cheese. Do you think it's American cheese? The moon is not made of cheese. Oh, the moon is not made of cheese. Could be Swiss cheese. There's little holy looking things up there. Right? So your IGS is saying this thought is not true. How bad is a cancer? This thought is not true. What kind of cancer is it? The thought of cancer is not true. Oh, the thought of cancer is not true. Which kind of test do I need to get to figure out what kind of cancer this is? You see, the questions are not relevant because you haven't dealt with the fear. The whole thing that you're dealing with in the closing, the fear is not true. You can't ask questions. You can't make a statement. You can't figure anything out coming from a false premise.
Okay. That's a good example.
It's like really important. You've got to deal with the closing, and the closing is valid, perfectly good, amazing information. It's guidance that what you're thinking is not true. Mm-hmm. Don't even bother with the thoughts that aren't true. There's no relevance to them in your life. Do you see? Mm-hmm. Now, you came in with an attachment to a belief that in order for Tim to be safe, there needs to be no evidence of disease. Mm-hmm. Does that open you? I want you to hold the thought. The only way Tim will be safe is if there's absolutely no evidence of disease. Open, close, or neutral.
closed.
Yeah, it's not true. I have friends. My mother-in-law lived with stage 4 bone cancer for 12 years without it progressing.
Wow. Okay.
She did not die from cancer last year. She died from a bowel obstruction problem. She had breast cancer that went into her bones. 12 years. They had her on a chemo pill. She did not progress. Everything was fine. She didn't even die from cancer after having stage 4 cancer for 12 years. But my point is, you came in with an idea of what this needed to look like in order for you to be happy. That's where the trouble started.
Yeah, I definitely, I had one particular thing in my head that has to go this way or else kind of thing. And frankly, I know that he is seeing a functional medicine doctor, and root causes toxicity. And I mean, I can think of right off the top of my head, one thing that he could do that he hasn't done yet is get his mercury fillings out. We have a biological dentist in town.
Well, yeah, you can check into all of that.
Yeah.
So, and if that opens, you do it. But let's get back to the thing that you just skipped over.
Okay.
You opened that he does not have to have no evidence of disease in order to be safe. Well, you closed that doesn't need to be true.
Right.
So you can hold the thought that there's the diagnosis of no evidence of disease is not pertinent to him living a long, happy life. Hold that thought.
Okay.
It's not important.
Yeah, I'm open to that.
Yeah. Okay. So that was the very first thought that created this deep closing you just were in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was.
So you didn't catch it before you read the test. And that's okay. I'm not blaming you.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is this isn't training, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then when you saw evidence of disease, your mind went, I have a rule. And that rule is it has to look like this. We do it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So.
Okay. Well, that's helpful to know about this is your mother-in-law you were talking about?
Mm-hmm.
In my head, I had that she did ultimately die of cancer.
No.
From previous conversation. Okay.
She had 2.5, 3 years ago, she had a really bad bacteria that she picked up in the hospital from having to have something else done that was not cancer related. It was another procedure that she had to have fixed. She had a problem with her spine. I think it was she had to have this fusion or something redone after all these years. She was 82. And in the hospital, she picked up a very, very bad, it wasn't staph or strep. It was something else. It attacked her bowels. She almost died. She didn't die. And I opened that she wasn't going to die. They had us all prepared for her to die. In fact, her best friend contacted me, this was 2.5 years ago, and said, we need to start planning. They said she's not going to make it another 24 hours and we need to plan her funeral. And I went about 1 minute into it, totally closed. And I was like, hold on, stop. I have this thing called the IGS, and I explained it to her. And I said, I'm open she's not going to die. And her best friend was like, me too. I'm like, so we're not planning her funeral. She's going to live. And she did.
Wow.
But what happened was that thing really ripped up her intestines.
Yeah.
And then a couple of years later, she had a problem with her bowels, and her tissue was just too weak to make it. And they couldn't fix it because the tissues had broken down from that infection. She did not die of cancer.
Wow.
So this is the reason why asking questions and making statements when you're in fear doesn't work, because you can't even think that it's not true.
Right.
Your mind is convinced it's true, which is why you're in fear. And your IGS, as a separate individual experience within your body that's attached to divine intelligence, is giving you guidance not to listen to that mind.
Yeah.
And the more experience you have and the more times you go through things like this, the more that it shows up as easier to do. It just gets easier and easier to do. And that 2.5 years ago with my mother-in-law was a big thing for me, because I kind of had to come out of the closet with everybody and tell them that she's not going to die. I remember sitting there with 3 doctors in front of me, and they were telling me she's going to die within 24 hours. And I was like, okay, great. So in a year, she had to have a colostomy bag because of what had happened. I said, in a year, can we reverse the colostomy bag? And they go, yes, that surgery is reversible. And I said, is that something with what she's been through that she'll be able to actually have the health and stamina to do? And they're like, lady, she's dead, basically.
Oh.
She's not going to make it. And I was like, so I walked into the room and just whispered in her ear, you're going to be able to reverse this colostomy in a year, this colostomy bag in a year. I just talked to the doctors. You're going to be just fine. And she kind of opened her eyes and looked at me. And I was like, you're going to live. She used her IGS. I'm like, I'm open that you're going to live. Check your own IGS. And that night she had it was amazing. She had a turnaround. She was home within 2 weeks. So, but that's the thing is you get used to the stakes being that high and still being okay. It takes practice, but you're doing that. You're getting there. You just did it.
With your wonderful
Next time it'll be, yes, but next time you'll be able to do it more by yourself.
Yes,
because
I believe
so. And that's
so.
the hard part. Yeah, and the hardest part is remembering that closing is guidance. That the fear, anxiety, overwhelm, frustration, irritation, impatience, procrastination, the guilt, all of those things that cause closing is guidance. We try to go out of it because it doesn't feel good, but it is actually guidance that what we're thinking isn't true. So rejoice in the guidance, even though it doesn't feel comfortable.
I'm going to put sticky notes on my mirror.
I did. I did.
Yeah.
Closing is guidance. It is the information you need.
Yeah. Closing.
God forbid you see the test and you get an opening about all of that. That's the part where you're like, oh no, I'm open. That this thing's happening. Still not afraid and scared.
But your mother-in-law did have in testing, she still had cancer, but it did not progress.
Oh, they were able to stop it from progressing at a certain point with the chemo pill, but it was throughout her entire body. I mean, there was a particular, I don't remember what it was called. She had a PET scan and not very much showed up. And then about 6 months later, she had a gut instinct that something wasn't right. And they gave her a different chemical to run the PET scan off of. I can't remember what it was called, but it wasn't covered by insurance. It was an extra thing. It was a different chemical that the PET scan. And then that PET scan, when it came back, her entire body was glowing. She was completely filled with cancer in all of her bones. And the other one, for some reason, had not picked it up. I can't remember. They explained it all to me years ago. But and then they put her on the chemo pill, and all of that cancer stayed. And the chemo pill just kept it stopped.
Wow.
Didn't progress. But she was filled. Her husband is a doctor, and he's like, she's completely filled with cancer.
And was she comfortable enough? I mean,
yeah. And she was tired 1 week. 1 week out of the month, she was tired because you do 3 weeks on and 1 week off.
Okay.
And so we didn't plan anything big as a group or do anything with them that last week because she just slept a lot.
Yeah.
And then the other 3 weeks she was fine.
That's
and she got
worth
12
it.
more years.
Yeah.
Yeah, because my son's 11. She would have never met him.
Oh, yeah.
So anyways, is there anything else?
That is it.
Okay.
Thank you, Zen.
I'm the only one for coaching today, so this will be a short show. You're welcome. This is important. And the reason why we're doing these live events, the reason why I'm coaching live like this is the kind of thing that people need to know is possible. Watching you go from where you just went and getting the PET scan results to where you have ended up right now using the internal guidance system and feeling your opening is an opportunity that every human on the planet has to be able to do for themselves throughout their day, anytime, no matter how hard it is or how crazy, difficult, and dire our minds are making something out to be. If something dire is going to happen, it would open you, and it doesn't feel the same. You've had things that were not pleasant mentally, like as you would consider a not pleasant thought open you. It doesn't feel the same as the closing thoughts where you're terrified.
Yeah. Yeah. That is.
It's a wise knowing.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Not just that, yeah, the fear and the anxiety together. Yeah, it's very uncomfortable, but it does mean I'm closed when I expect
Yes.
that.
So it's not true. So you
Not,
can count on that.
yes.
All right. Now, so thank you for being a part of the show today. This is a coaching show. The goal of this show is to support people in becoming fear-free humans. And that means mental fear. There's physical fear and there's mental fear. Physical fear is the kind that we need to protect ourselves. There's a tiger around the corner. There's a shark in the water. There's a semi who's coming over into your lane and you got to maneuver quickly. And there's this, all of a sudden you're like, and there's a fear there. That's not the kind of fear most of us deal with on a regular basis. Some people do, I get it. Some people live in not safe areas, but even they have a way of having intelligence about how to stay safe. I'm talking about mental fear. The fear that you've got brought to you when you were a child, witnessing the way the world worked. We pick up these rules and these ideas inside our head, and they cause us to not be able to live our personal life's blueprint. That's right. You have a blueprint. It's the thing that you came here to do, to be a part of. It's the reason why you matter. It's your contribution to the world. And that contribution is important. And the things that keep you away from living on your blueprint, you can feel them in your body. They show up as what I call a closing, a lump in the throat, a tightness in the chest, or a sick feeling in your solar plexus. When you feel this tight feeling, which we call anxiety, worry, fear, overwhelm, frustration, irritation, things of that nature, when you feel that in your body, it literally means you are not on your blueprint any longer. Your mind and the thoughts that you have are carrying you off of your divine blueprint, the thing that you came here to do. And the easiest way to have the happiest life is to bring yourself back into alignment with that blueprint. And you do this by working with your thoughts and your internal guidance system. When you feel the closing, knowing how to bring yourself back into that releasing and being an opening like you just witnessed with Alysson, okay? Knowing how to do that is the key to a happy, successful life. If you want to learn more, we have a new game. The games start on Monday. It's called the Recreating You game. You get 5 practices in 5 days that actually get you started using this process, and you clear out a bunch of closings and you'll feel the difference in your life immediately. Go to the recreatingyouGame.com. It's super, super affordable and easy to play, a lot of fun, and you'll have a transformation that you've never dreamed possible in just a 5-day period. For me, I'm going to sign off now. I want to thank you all for being here. I love and appreciate you. Spread the word about this show. And also, if you get on our email list, which you can do at fearfreehuman.com, at the top, you hop on our email list. You'll be invited to these calls. If you want to coach with me, that's the way to do it. You simply get on the email list and we send these out 2 or 3 times a week to let you know how to be able to come and get coaching. You do not have to have done a program with me for me to walk you through how to use your IGS. It's something you were born with. It's activated and happening. You can just get on here and we can work through anything that's happening in your life.